Next point. Controlling subordinates only to the extent that surprise momentum are not sacrificed. Personnel should become so familiar with their leader's intent that they can be trusted to act on their own initiative. They should never be required to ask permission to respond to a crisis situation. Seconds count in close combat. Subordinates must be trusted to act appropriately and only required to inform their leaders of decisions that might affect others. That's it. That's decentralized command. Now, you're going to think at first that this is a little bit of a stretch, but it's not. So controlling subordinates only to the extent that surprise and momentum are not sacrificed. I'm going to relate that to jiu-jitsu, believe it or not. In jiu-jitsu and in any sport, you have to train your standard operating procedures so that your body can execute them without directives, right? If you have an instinct to defend the arm lock, you will escape the arm lock. Mm-hmm. If you do not have that instinct because you haven't trained it enough, you will get caught in the arm lock. If you have to think about the move, it is too late. And that's exactly what decentralized command is. If Echo's out on the battlefield and he gets flanked and he has to ask me what to do, he's going to get killed. If Echo's on the mat with me and I slap a Kimura on him and he has to think about the defense, it's too late. He's already tapping. Mm-hmm. Whereas if I go for the Kimura and his instinct moves him out of that position, then you survive. The one more thing that when I think about that type of training, is something we used to do, was called blender drills. When you take your SEAL squad or your SEAL platoon and you start making calls on them. Flank left, push right, strong right, center peel. You just do the most random calls.
So what do you mean calls?
Like you're making tactical calls. You got 16 guys. They're called immediate action drills. Mm. And for instance, if you're patrolling through the desert and you start getting shot at from the front, mm-hmm. then you do what's called a contact drill. You're going to react to that contact. The contact is the enemy. You're going to do a maneuver as a group. And they're all kind of choreographed maneuvers where squad 1 goes over here, squad 2 goes over here. We lay down a base of fire. You start to move, cover and move out. But what we would do is we would mix up those calls. In the middle of one maneuver, we'd call for another maneuver. And in the middle of that one, we'd call for another one. And in the middle of that one, we'd call for another one. And what it did was it trained the mind. It trained the minds of the leaders and of the guys to expect the unexpected, as you said earlier in that cliched way, but something that's completely necessary. Trained them to be reactive and open-minded to things that were going to happen.